Part of me thinks that it's just because of all that's happened since. That history is twisting, or shaping, refracting what things were like back then, like an old glass bottle. That things couldn't have been so different. So much better. That what I remember has all been filtered through rose-colored glasses. More like binoculars. I know it's been years, but it all feels so close and clear and crisp. And it's all zoomed in, hyper-specific, like the light on a leather jacket is the most important part. Or the tone of the laugh. Or the texture of fingertips, that firm but careful grip. I know memory is selective, sometimes in the wrong ways, but I still would find myself wondering if by recalling those hands precisely enough, I could figure out more incidentally. Like, were there scars? Were they rough? Were they thin like mine and I'm just remembering them bigger because I was so small? Or if I could map out all the whorls and loops and creases, count them like they're tree rings, or as though I'm some sort of backwards fortune teller, could I read a bit more into who the guy was? I could never figure out the tree ring thing, but for some reason the thought stuck. It was probably that pine air freshener he always kept dangling in the car. It is weird what sticks. It seems almost random to me what I can recall about a time that should be important. It is important. It's all I have of him. But it's as though what I'm after is at the top of one of those big pines, and all I'm managing for all my scrambling are hands flecked with sap and a nose full of air freshener. Resin. Right. So I'm just some godforsaken ant poking around the wrong family tree, ready to be firmly affixed. Fossilized for my trouble. Ants. I've got one of those. At least I think I do. Grandma says she moved out west ages ago. As soon as she was old enough to. Before I was born, anyway. Supposedly, she and Grandpa didn't get along. The more questions I ask, the harder it is to shake the impression that few people did with him. I mean, at first the responses conformed to my few bright memories. He worked hard to support his family. He was passionate and warm. He had a sharp wit. He had strong hands. But as I grew a stronger sense for subtext, the sheen of those answers started wearing thin. Bit by bit, I was able to glean his legitimate legacy. Restoring a patina that had been all but polished off. I could make out the bitterness at being cast as breadwinner. That his passion mostly manifests as outrage, indignance, disgust, or disappointment. Vocal, violent, volatile. Warm is more aptly replaced with incendiary. He had a sharp tongue. He had strong hands. I have the facts now. I understand the damage he's done. I don't need to question why Dad's eyes don that defensive distantness whenever the man is mentioned. Why I've never seen him drink. Why all our Christmas trees were plastic. But how do I reconcile that with the rides on leather-clad shoulders? A laugh so full you could feel in your gut how he ached for it. How a sudden, forceful grasp yields to trembling gentleness. My dad's father was an angry drunk. A man who took out his own pain on his children. Pint-sized proxies for whatever demons tore down his own innocence. Caught up in all that had been done to him. My grandpa was an old man with a bad liver, good shoulders, and more patience than a 6-year-old deserved. A man with regrets. A man who wished that he could sum up all his wrinkles and warts and get some kind of mathematical answer to who exactly he was. Or divine it, gypsy-like, from the creases of his palm. Creases from fists. Creases from choking. He was consumed with the need to understand what went wrong all those years. Caught up in all he'd done. But all he ever got for trying to scramble up that tree is covered in sap. Resin. A man trapped in amber.